Okay, so these are the notes that you're going to be doing, going to be copying. And I'm sorry it's not a video where I'm actually writing it down, but it's one that I still wanted to walk through with you. So I want you to see how long it is. All right, and now I'm going to make it larger so that you can see it in full size. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is our second page of notes. And notice the title. It's dividing fractions, but really you're not dividing fractions. You're not dividing fractions. By the way, if I go too fast, remember you can always stop the video and then pause it and then copy from there. Okay, so what we're not going to do, we do not divide. We do not divide. Instead, multiply by reciprocal. Multiply by reciprocal. And that word, reciprocal, R-E-C-I-P-R-O-C-A-L, reciprocal. Again, you can pause at any time. The video. Okay, well, so what's reciprocal? That's two numbers whose product. Two numbers whose product. And remember, product means to multiply. So two numbers whose product equals 1 are called reciprocals of each other. Two numbers whose product equals 1 are called reciprocals of each other. Right? Two numbers you multiply, they equal 1. They're called reciprocals. Now, to find the reciprocal, okay, we definitely know how to spell reciprocal now. Just flip the fraction. Just flip it. First of all, let's take a look at what reciprocals are. So, if you have a reciprocal 2 over 1, if you just have just 2, well, you would put a 1 under it, and if you flip it, it'd be 1/2. That's a reciprocal of 2, 1/2. If you have 7 over 12, just flip it. The reciprocal is just flipping it, 12 over 7. If you have 1/3, reciprocal is 3 over 1. Now, it gets a little tricky when we get to something like mixed numbers, like this one right here. Okay, on that, 2.5. Remember, you have to make it into a fraction to flip it. So we'd have 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. It's 5/2. 2.5 is the same thing as 5/2. Now you can take the reciprocal of that, 2 over 5. All right, so if you have a mixed number, change it to a fraction. Some examples are to the side. For example, 5 times 1/5, see that's its reciprocal, is 1. 3/4 times 4/3, you see that? The reciprocals of each other, they equal 1. Because 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 3 is 12 over 12 is 1. Or you could say 3's reduce and 4's, it still comes out to 1. All right, now steps to dividing fractions. And so I have an example right here to the side. 14 divided by 2 1/3. Now remember, we're writing these notes as reference, so you can always look back at it and see what's going on. All right, so these are the steps to dividing fractions. First, change all the values to fractions. Change all the values to fractions. Notice this is 14. Well, that's 14 over 1. And this is 2 1/3. Well, remember, 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 plus 1 is 7, 7/3. You see that? I changed both of these into fractions. The next step, and I put flip here just for a reason. You'll see in a minute. The next step, rewrite to multiply by reciprocal. Rewrite to multiply by reciprocal. Now, some of you may remember this by freeze, change, flip. Freeze, change, flip, you may remember that, but basically you rewrite it to multiply by reciprocal. Okay, so I keep this one, 14 over 1, I change this to times, and then I flip 7/3 to 3/7. So now I kept this, but then I change it to multiply by the reciprocals. I did no dividing. I'm multiplying by the reciprocal. The last thing is just simplify. Then simplify. So 14 and 7, 7 goes into both of those. 7 goes near once, 7 goes into 14 twice. And then we have just 2 times 3 on top, that's 6. 1 times 1 on the bottom, that's 1. So it's just 6 over 1, or 6 is the answer. And that is how we divide. We don't actually divide. We change it to multiply. Multiply by the reciprocal. And that is how division is done. We don't actually divide. We change it to multiply. So now hopefully your notes look something like this.